From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, June 21st. Be prepared for some scattered showers during the morning commute today. More showers later in the day as well. Not an all-day rain, but there could be a couple times of rain Monday into Monday night. It's also going to be a pretty warm day, but relief is in our future for the week. Some great mid-70s and sunshiny days headed our way. And it is a morning of cleanup and drying out for people in northern Indiana and Illinois. Weather teams are going to look at the damage on the ground to see exactly how many twisters a storm system spun off overnight. The National Weather Service confirmed so far at least one touchdown in Woodridge, Illinois. The National Weather Service says that the severe weather threat is over for all of northern Illinois and northwest Indiana. This comes after many areas were impacted. In northern Indiana, the LaPorte County Sheriff's Office activated emergency weather sirens early this morning due to a tornado that was spotted near the Porter County line south of Westville and was reported to be traveling east. Other areas like Syracuse, Millersburg, and New Paris were under a severe thunderstorm warning until 3 this morning. The National Weather Service in Chicago has been watching this very closely, of course. There was a wall cloud spotted near DeKalb, Illinois. Other places like Darien, Illinois have reported heavy damage in town, like down power lines. They're working with different utility companies and asking people to stay away from them as shock hazards are a possibility now. Thankfully, no reported injuries in town. Also in Woodbridge, Illinois, the police department confirmed a tornado touchdown just after 11:30 last night. They're advising people to stay home and avoid certain areas as streets may be impassable because of debris and first responder activity. There are also reports of probable tornado damage in Naperville, just outside of Chicago. The DuPage County emergency manager reports 4 people have been injured and taken to local hospitals. Injuries are not life-threatening, so that's some good news. 12 homes are damaged. Multiple trees are down. At this point, Northern Illinois Power Company, ComEd, reports just more than 250 people in the area are without power. And a man is dead in Bloomington after police say he tried to drive through floodwaters. According to the department, 31-year-old Colton Bowe was with a friend, and they were seen near College Avenue and Dodge Street Friday night. A search party found Bowe's body Saturday. The friend says they were driving through the rushing water. The car drifted and hit something. The friend says he was able to climb out of a window and grab some tree branches to pull himself out of the water. He says he never saw Bowe or the vehicle after that. Authorities confirm a teenager drowned in a lake in Bartholomew County over the weekend. Tyrell Bowers was 17. Investigators say Bowers was swimming with friends just before 10 Saturday night when he went under and never resurfaced. The DNR says conservation officers found Bowers' body an hour and a half later. The coroner and DNR are investigating. And this morning, 2 Red Cross shelters are open for people displaced by the weekend storms. The Red Cross says both shelters are open due to significant flooding. In Bloomington, a shelter is open at Bloomington High School North on North Kinzer Pike. In Madison, a second shelter is at the North Madison Christian Church on State Road 62. The organization is monitoring the weather and plans to provide support as needed. And today, a first court appearance for 2 people charged with killing Chris Beatty, the former IU football player killed the night of the riots in Indianapolis last year. As of the most recent update from the state, Nakia Shields and Elijah Jones are due in front of a judge at 9 o'clock this morning. They face felony murder charges, 5 counts of armed robbery, and 1 count of attempted robbery. Prosecutors say the 2 were part of a group of people that robbed 7 people, including Beatty, last May. Indianapolis police say the death of a 17-year-old appears to be the city's 117th homicide of the year. The current pace is similar to last year's all-time high of more than 250 criminal homicides. IMPD says Jordan Jackson was shot to death Thursday night at the Riverbend Apartments at 86th and Allisonville Road in Castleton. Police say a woman was also grazed by a bullet. American Airlines is canceling hundreds of flights through at least the middle of July. Anyone who is booked through July 15th will be notified so they can make travel adjustments in advance. The company says it projects between 50 and 80 flight cancellations a day. American dropped 120 flights Saturday alone. The airline says unprecedented weather to hubs are among the reasons for the cancellation, specifically in the first few weeks of June. A spokesperson for American Airlines says the flight cancellations will be spread throughout its system to minimize impact in a single area. The spokesperson also released a statement writing in part, that, combined with the labor shortages some of our vendors are contending with and the incredibly quick ramp up of customer demand, has led us to build in additional resilience and certainty to our operation by adjusting a fraction of our scheduled flying through mid-July. Indianapolis International Airport is not affected by the cancellations at this point. We checked this morning and everything's running fine. And the stands will be no more than half full for the Olympics. Organizers announced this morning 50% capacity for the venues and a max of 10,000 in large arenas, no matter what the capacity. The in-person fans will be from Japan. Organizers announced a ban on international visitors earlier this year, and those who do go will not be allowed to cheer, must wear masks, and must go home immediately after the games. The Olympics are set to start on July 23rd. And this is the first week people in Indiana will not be receiving extra unemployment payments. The federal pandemic unemployment compensation gave people an extra $300 a week struggling to find a job. A lawsuit filed last week hopes to bring back those payments. Two law firms are representing 5 people who are unemployed. Governor Eric Holcomb said last week that now is the right time to end the federal program in Indiana.
Understand that we have more people in the workforce today than we did pre-pandemic. Understand we have a full employment, 3.9%. The 120,000 plus jobs that need to be filled is a fraction of what is available.
Holcomb has said there are job opportunities out there. An emergency hearing for the case is set for Wednesday. The director of the CDC says the Delta variant of COVID-19 could become the dominant strain in the United States. Experts say the Delta variant is more contagious than others, including the initial strain that prompted the pandemic, and the Alpha variant first identified in the United Kingdom. A former commissioner for the Food and Drug Administration says the variant is popping up more in areas with low vaccination rates.
So kids, for example, young people seem to be the population that's spreading it in the United Kingdom. And when we look across the United States, we see wide variance in terms of vaccination rates. Some states like Vermont or Connecticut have very high vaccination rates, above 80%. Other states are struggling to get to 50%.
The CDC director says the agency's vaccine advisory committee will meet this week to discuss boosters for the current vaccines. 2 more pop-up COVID-19 vaccine clinics are opening in Indianapolis. The Marion County Public Health Department site on Shelby Street will offer the Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson shot. It's open from 10 to 5 today. The Black Firefighters Association office on 46th Street will have the Moderna and J&J shots from 11 to 3 today, Wednesday, and Friday. The health department says anyone who gets vaccinated at one of its sites before July 2nd will be entered to win several prizes. You could win Colts season tickets, a jersey signed by Pacers star Domantas Sabonis, or even clubhouse tickets for the Indianapolis Indians. And the country is moving closer to President Biden's goal of getting 70% of American adults at least one COVID-19 vaccine dose by the 4th of July. 16 states and Washington, D.C. have already hit 70%. This morning, the CDC's COVID data tracker reports 65.4% of Americans 18 years old and older have gotten at least one shot. That's more than 168 million people.
On July 4, we're going to celebrate our independence from the virus as we celebrate our independence of our nation.
One former FDA commissioner says the U.S. needs to focus on a different delivery strategy for the vaccines. He says the country needs to push vaccines to places like doctors' offices, schools, and jobs. Tropical Depression Claudette is gaining strength as it moves toward the eastern coast of the U.S. The National Hurricane Center says the storm's expected to produce heavy rainfall and flash flooding. According to NOAA, tropical storm warnings are in effect for much of North Carolina's coast. In Alabama, northeast of Mobile, the storm left behind extensive damage. Homes are flattened, trees snapped, debris scattered all over the streets. One woman that a news crew spoke to said that she hunkered down and rode out the storm.
I knew that the inside of my house was fine. I knew that we were fine. And then when I walked out on the front porch and saw that, it was really upsetting to see.
According to the county's emergency management agency, 3 people were injured. And a large crash during the tropical storm killed 9 children and 1 adult. It happened on I-65 south of Montgomery, Alabama. Local authorities say cars and trucks hydroplaned on the interstate leading to the pileup. 8 of the children who died were in a van from a youth home for neglected or abused children.
This is probably the most horrific accident that I've ever seen.
A man and a 9-month-old girl in another vehicle were also killed. And one person is dead and another is seriously injured after a truck hit them during a pride parade in Florida. It happened Saturday before the Stonewall Pride Parade in Fort Lauderdale. According to Fort Lauderdale police, the 77-year-old driver wasn't able to walk and was chosen to drive the lead vehicle. Police say the truck accelerated unexpectedly and hit two people walking in the parade. The truck also hit a fence and a building.
First thing we saw was lights. We saw the emergency vehicles approaching.
We heard, all the cops rushing there, but we thought it was the start of the parade. We had no idea.
Police say the driver was taken into custody, but so far no charges have been filed. The department adds the person injured is expected to survive. And this morning, members of Congress are expressing optimism about infrastructure, but a bipartisan effort is far from a done deal. Powerful voices on both sides of the aisle don't like it. Some say it's not nearly enough. Others insist it spends far too much. John Lawrence looks at the holdouts.
There's been some progress on Capitol Hill regarding the Biden White House's infrastructure plan.
Last week, I heard from a lot of my colleagues saying, I just need to look at one other issue. Can you do this? Can you do that? But there's a lot of interest in having a bipartisan proposal.
21 senators, 10 Democrats and 11 Republicans, are inching closer to a bipartisan deal on parts of the proposal.
If you want to work with Republicans to spend $1 trillion on infrastructure, it's available to you. If you don't want to go that route and you pick a $6 trillion reconciliation package, I think you'll get a lot of pushback from every Republican.
Speaking of pushback, Senator Bernie Sanders is calling for a larger price tag for the bill to cover issues like climate change.
I sometimes think we get boggled down in numbers, and that's important, but we got to look at what the needs are of the American people, what's going on right now.
And as talks continue, the clock keeps ticking.
When you come out of a pandemic, America suddenly understands we've got real fractures in many areas. That's how we got Social Security. That's how we got Medicare. Now it's the time to act, and we need to do it this summer.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And today, a temporary closure of the new Monon Loop, the trail detour prompted by the North Split construction. Planners say the stretch from 10th to College will close so crews can bring in construction materials. The detour is to use the sidewalk along the east side of College Avenue to the sidewalk on the north side of 10th Street. NDOT warns more temporary closures are coming from time to time through August. Indianapolis Burger Week starts today. You can get a gourmet burger for $6 at participating restaurants in the city, including Barbecue and Bourbon, Burger Theory, Hopcat. There are plenty more. You can print out a burger passport to keep track of your progress. This is a challenge I definitely want to make. To see the places and deals, go to the Wish TV app. Click on this story in the As Seen on Wish TV section. It is the first day of Amazon's Prime Day sale. Prime members are waking up to deals on thousands of products on the company's website. As we've reported, the company is marking down products in categories like electronics, clothing, toys, kitchenware, a lot more. The 2-day sale is usually held in late summer, but it's a little early this year. According to Amazon, last year's Prime Day was the biggest ever for small and medium businesses. Major competitors like Walmart and Target are also hosting their own deals online today to compete with Amazon. Lots of free shipping out there. This morning, the International Space Station has a new solar array to harness the sun's energy. 2 astronauts installed the panels during a Sunday spacewalk, finishing work that started last week. They also prepped the station for more arrays in the future. According to NASA, the 2 astronauts were in space for 6 hours and 28 minutes. Golf for a good cause. Just before noon today, the AC Golf Classic tees off to support Teachers Treasures. We've told you about their work in the past, providing school supplies for teachers, especially those of at-risk students. The outing has raised more than $2 million for the effort over the years. You can help support the cause by bidding on items in a silent auction, including a signed Peyton Manning jersey, IU Purdue football tickets, or a staycation at the new BottleWorks Hotel. You can find all the items on wishtv.com. Just grab your phone, click on the story in the As Seen on Wish TV section. A Central Indiana father was able to see his daughter's graduation after an intense battle with COVID-19. He spent more than a month in the hospital. News 8's Randall Newsom spoke with him about the journey to get to full strength.
It's happiness, it's gratefulness, it's thankfulness.
That's what Shad Schultz feels when he thinks of this Father's Day, remembering how COVID-19 shook up his world back in April.
I was in a pretty bad spot for a little while. I was in the hospital for 39 days total. The most difficult part is 25 of it was actually in isolation.
The virus was aggressive, giving the doctors at Community Hospital North some major issues.
He was on the ventilator. Just being on the ventilator, we could not oxygenate him, provide enough oxygen to his body, and then he was put on this machine that we call ECMO.
Extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, a treatment that completely supports the heart and lungs, giving the rest of your body a break.
Rest is so important. If you give rest to the body organs, then body has the capacity to heal itself.
The last resort in saving Shad's life.
The hardest thing was I just didn't know what each day was going to bring. Talking to the nurses in the morning and hearing one thing, and then afternoon it would be something different.
There were big doubts. Some of the days were really hard.
But a newfound bond with the hospital staff made some of those days easier.
They became kind of a pseudo family. They didn't just do a job. They really cared.
He got stronger, and after 12 days, he was off the ECMO machine, breathing on his own. May 13th, he was released from the hospital, just in time for a special occasion.
I was able to go to my youngest daughter's graduation, which I didn't think I'd be able to do.
Shad got a little choked up just thinking about what he made it through just to see this Father's Day.
You know, just by the grace of God, I'm here, and I think that's probably the most impactful part of it all.
Again, that was Randall Newsom reporting. Shad is in outpatient therapy now, still getting his strength back. He was able to go home yesterday to be home with his 3 kids and his wife on Father's Day. Former Indiana Pacers coach Nate McMillan is heading to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Atlanta Hawks, something he never achieved with the Pacers. The Blue and Gold fired McMillan last year after the playoffs. He never made it out of the first round and had a 3-16 playoff record with the Pacers. McMillan became the interim head coach after Atlanta fired its coach in the middle of the season. The Hawks will now face the Milwaukee Bucks for a chance to go to the NBA Finals. And finally, 2 business headlines. Summer camps across Indiana are coming back in full swing. Camp leaders say enrollment and interest has increased. Camps have different restrictions on capacity and masks, but all say they're looking forward to welcoming campers again. Google told Reuters this week it's developing an alternative to the industry standard method for classifying skin tones, which a growing chorus of technology researchers and dermatologists say is inadequate for assessing whether products are biased against people of color. At issue is a 6-color scale known as Fitzpatrick skin type, which dermatologists have used since the 1970s. Critics say FST, which includes 4 categories for white skin and 1 apiece for black and brown, disregards diversity among people of color. Drought-stricken communities are pushing back against data centers. All centers need some form of cooling technology, essentially large units that cool air with water or refrigerant, or evaporative cooling, which evaporates water to cool the air. Evaporative cooling uses a lot less electricity but more water. Since water is cheaper than electricity, data centers tend to opt for the more water-intensive approach. This growth comes at a time of record temperatures and drought in the United States, particularly in the West. Bank Morgan Stanley resumes face-to-face meetings, cites Zoom fatigue. Morgan Stanley execs revealed that earlier this week they began hosting clients. The head of the bank also wants all workers back in the office by Labor Day. A Pew Research report found 30% of adults said their personal finances had improved since January of 2020. Another 50% said their financial situation remained just as good as before. Even 2/3 of those who earn less than $39,000 a year said their finances were just as good or better than before the pandemic hit. This has been your News 8 Daily for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast.
The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.